What is going on, guys? This is ShowStoppers. We have Brian and myself, Des, and we're actually missing one of our key members, Greg, but he's unfortunately doing a Spurs game viewing party, some shit like that.
Viewing party. He wants to see his Spurs lose in a big, massive setting.
Getting destroyed right now. I'm pretty sure it's a tie game in the fourth quarter. And right now we have our fill-in Nathan. If you guys don't know, Nathan's part of the network, and he's going to be doing future segments. He also used to do SSW in the past, and he's somewhat credible. He's all right. I mean, he's
somewhat.
He's gonna fill in just in case when people don't show up in the future. He's gonna do what he got to do. So recently, today was the episode of Raw. I don't watch wrestling as much as I should. And I didn't get home.
That's why I'm here, though, Des.
Okay, that's why.
And why we have Nathan sitting in.
So I'm gonna let them discuss. Obviously, I've seen the highlights. Like I said, I don't watch the full thing, but I watch the highlights. But Keels, why don't you take it off from here and let people know what happened today?
Well, this was the best Raw I think in a while, and it was important for it to be a good Raw because it was setting up the Extreme Rules pay-per-view. Which,
definitely.
Anytime you follow up WrestleMania, you have to have a strong pay-per-view after. You don't want to have that huge drop-off from the biggest event to the worst of the year. So Raw kicked off with John Cena standing in the steel cage, talking about, the match impending with Bray Wyatt. And Wyatt kind of did that Friday night on SmackDown. So I was like, okay, this is a good start. But what was so interesting about it was Cena chose to kind of attack the fans a little bit, which he's never done. He's always said how we have our right to our opinions, and he stands by it as long as we voice an opinion. He loves it. He asked us why we voted for him to be in a 3-on-1 handicap match last week. So the fact that he's now questioning the fans at all means Bray's getting in his head.
As the fans of Wyatt, or just in general fans?
No, just the fans in general, because it was a huge WWE poll last week where over 11 million votes were cast.
Wow.
Who would John Cena's opponent be? Would it be one Wyatt, two Wyatts, or all three?
They picked
and
three.
The fans voted for all three.
Who won it, though? That's
the Wyatts. The Wyatts were just using those mind games to get to him really badly. He was literally shaking earlier this morning.
So great, because what ended up happening was all of a sudden, anytime the Wyatts come around, they have that brief little clip from their entrance video play and the lights go out. That happened, and then you just started hearing a child singing, "I've got the whole world in my hands," and you're like, oh, Bray's really messing up now.
That, to me, was the creepiest thing the Wyatts have ever done. Bringing a small...
It was the creepiest thing.
Children.
But it got worse because it went from one child to an entire choir. And then the lights came on, and they're all on the stage, and Cena had this look of disbelief. And as if that wasn't enough, then the lights went out again, and Bray came out, and he led all the children around the ring the whole time singing. And all of a sudden, the lights go out for a third time, and they come back on, and all the kids are wearing sheet masks.
Holy shit.
And Bray just starts laughing, and he's sitting in his rocking chair with one of the kids on his lap wearing a sheet mask, just laughing at Cena. Cena was on his knees, just so disturbed by what was going on. So this rivalry has kicked it up a notch beyond what I had hoped. So I'm really excited to see where it goes. Cena used the metaphor that the cage is his last chance to keep Bray from spreading his message to the rest of the fans and to keep his rhetoric from, converting people, I guess you would say. If he escapes the cage, so does his message. Mm-hmm. Me being an anti-Cena guy and liking the whole movement of change and being a huge Bray Wyatt guy, I hope he gets out of that cage and keeps spreading that message, because this is just getting better every week.
Me, personally, I'm not a big Wyatt family guy. To be honest, I kind of see them somewhat as a joke, but the whole thing of bringing out the children to mess with Cena's head is just genius, because the fact that the children have always been John Cena's big priority when it comes to spreading his message and all that.
Well, they're his fan base at this point.
Exactly, that's
Anybody
his fan
over the
base.
age of 16 that's a dude is not a John Cena fan unless your name is Greg.
Exactly. But it's just the little children getting those kids to do that. It's gotta be messing with John Cena's head right now.
I agree.
Then Raw continued to get, on a strong start. I mean, I'm not going to go into every segment. I'm going to only touch on the important ones this week. If I missed any out, Greg and I will have an update later this week. We'll cover it there. But another important segment was the next step of the Daniel Bryan-Kane rivalry.
Oh, boy.
And Stephanie McMahon issued a public apology to Daniel Bryan, who came out wearing the neck brace after that ridiculous attack by Kane last week. So, the promo on the mic wasn't that great. The back and forth between Daniel Bryan and her kind of, a little bit of a whatever kind of promo. But the important thing was it led to her making a title match between his new wife and the Divas champion.
Right.
So you're sitting there going, okay, is this going to lead to a Kane attack? Now, the whole night they kept taking shots of Kane's mask in the little glass case it's kept in,
Wow.
meaning, okay, Kane's not there because there's his mask.
Yeah.
So as Daniel Bryan escorts his wife down to the ring for a title match, they show the glass case and the mask was gone.
No.
So you're going, oh, so that's where this is going. And lo and behold, match is going on. His music hits and the fire goes off. And you're like, okay, is he going to come from the crowd? Is he going to come down the ramp? Daniel Bryan's getting ready for him to charge down the ramp. And in fashion where only Kane or his brother could do, he came from through the ring.
Underneath.
All of a sudden, the hand comes up through the ring.
Kane right there.
Oh, my God.
I remember when
he
he did
tries
that with the wedding.
Brie. Yes.
He
yeah.
did that with the wedding of Rita and Edge.
It's a Kane classic go-to move. Come through the ring.
Wow.
There's only 3 guys I know who have ever done it. First, Undertaker. Second, Kane. Third, Abyss. Those are the top 3 guys I've ever known.
Don't mention TNA. Get TNA out of here.
Okay.
Abyss just did it because Kane did it.
Still, but those are the only 3 I know that actually do that.
How dare you bring TNA
How dare you
into
mention
a
Abyss
wrestling,
in that
World
conversation with those two
Wrestling
legends.
Entertainment podcast?
Okay. I'm sorry. I'm
but
offended.
it's a fair point. It's still somebody who's done it. But, so he tries dragging Brie under. There's a fight that goes on, and he ends up choke slamming Daniel Bryan. So that just takes it to the next level. He's left standing in the ring laughing, and you're left thinking, there's only 6 days till their title match in an Extreme Rules match. What condition is Daniel Bryan going to be in for that kind of a match against this new Kane?
And that's the pay-per-view, right?
Oh, yeah.
Okay.
That's the pay-per-view. So their match is an Extreme Rules match, so anything goes, any weapon, there's no DQs, no countouts.
That sounds amazing.
So it's going to be tough for D. Bryan in that condition.
I'm coming over to your house. We're going to watch that.
Watch on the network, right? Cheap plug for the WWE network.
Perfect.
I'm waiting for my check, WWE. They can afford it. They have a network. God.
Yeah, no shit. Might as well. So anything else happening around today that was significant, or?
Yes, the closing segment. And Nathan, I don't know if you were suspecting it. I had read a little bit during the week that it was possible. They had Evolution come out because Randy Orton was scheduled to have a one-on-one match with Roman Reigns.
As soon as I saw...
Don't say it yet. But did you see it coming?
When Batista came back, I instantly thought Evolution's going to get back together. As soon as he came back, I knew Evolution was going to get back together.
So you're saying when Evolution came back, you knew what the next step was?
Yes. I saw what was going to happen.
Well, the next step happened tonight, Des, because Evolution's in the ring, the Shield comes out, the match is about to start, and whose music hits? Who's missing from Evolution? The Nature Boy.
Woo!
Exactly.
No.
Yeah. Ric Flair returned tonight.
No.
So
tonight he was back.
Wow.
Ric Flair comes down to the ring, Evolution looking all happy, shaking his hand, big smiles all around, the Shield just staring him down. And Flair went on about how he's been down that road with factions, the Four Horsemen and Evolution, all about power and greatness and, this tradition of just dominance. And he said everything truly has come full circle, and he sees all those things in that ring. And then he looks to the Shield, and he goes, and I see that all in the Shield. And he walks over and shakes hands with every member of the Shield, and then leaves the ring.
Wow.
So they're having you go, oh my God, is Flair now backing the Shield over his old buddies? The only thing that has me doubting Flair, and he wasn't subtle about it, I don't know if he was supposed to be or not, he looked at Evolution and winked at him before he did it.
So it's sarcasm when he said all that shit.
I don't know. I don't know if he's planning to double-cross the Shield, or if he's winking at them because he's now with the Shield. You never know with Flair. Flair keeps you on your toes because he is the dirtiest player in the game. The problem is right now, you don't know what the game is.
I'm kind of happy they brought him back for today's episode, though.
It was a good way to end the show.
It was good.
Now, are they going to do something with them for the pay-per-view? Or is it
I don't know if there's going to be anything with Flair, but they already have the match between Shield and Evolution, 6-man tag.
And who's in Evolution? Batista?
Its Evolution is Batista, Orton, and Triple H against Dean Ambrose, Roman Reigns, and Seth Rollins. And tonight, the match obviously ended in an all-out brawl, no real winner.
Obviously.
Evolution was destroying the Shield. So I was like, oh, it's going to be another Shield beatdown. I kind of would have liked to have seen some balance because they got beat down a couple weeks ago.
That's just mean they're going to win in the pay-per-view, though.
That's what I thought. But then the Shield came back and actually laid the beatdown on Triple H, getting the spear and fighting them off when they had chairs. So I'm sitting there going, wow, this really, I think the Shield's going to be put over at the Extreme Rules pay-per-view where finally they're going to get a huge win over an established group. And if they do that, the sky's the limit.
That would be great, actually, especially what you got. Oh, my God. With Batista, Randy. Wow.
Yeah, those three, putting them over. And
it's disgusting.
I mean, the young talent continues to come up. Rusev had a match tonight. He's going into a handicap match at the pay-per-view. That's how dominant he's been. They're putting him against two people. Adam Rose is going to debut on Raw finally next week. If you don't watch NXT, get the network.
That's
watch
great talent,
NXT.
right? NXT did a lot of great talent, you said, right?
Oh, yeah. And they're calling them up now. Paige is already the Divas champion.
Already?
So she's now won it in her first match.
Holy
the match
shit.
After WrestleMania.
Now,
21 years old.
How the performance so far? Like, how was her performance when she did the
She's been amazing. She's had matches
has a
since winning the
somewhat
title.
similar move to AJ's, the submission move.
It's great because AJ was the only diva other than Natalya that really had a submission move in the arsenal, and then Brie started using that backbreaker, I guess. So it's nice to see these divas incorporating submission moves now because it shows, hey, they're not one-dimensional. They really can wrestle. And Paige is the epitome of that because her submission move takes a lot of skill to execute. It's not some
that is
basic...
like something I've never seen before.
I've never seen it before.
Now, would you agree that the Divas division has grown a lot since AJ?
AJ, I think, has led the rebuilding of the Divas division where now NXT, it wasn't just guys being groomed to be called up. There are some really talented divas. And, we mentioned the return of Ric Flair. Ric Flair's daughter is in NXT.
Wow.
Really?
So she absolutely is. And if you check it out, there are some very talented stars. And Cena kind of mentioned some of the names tonight when he was talking about how bright the future is. He wasn't lying. There's some great guys, and Adam Rose is the next step starting next week, so I can't wait to see.
What about this other guy?
Which one?
The Believe guy.
Oh, God. That's Bo Dallas. Bo Dallas is kind of what I call, and I'm pretty sure it's a well-known term, he's a super face. He's like a Cena. He's not just face where he's supposed to be a good guy. He's such a good guy, it's obnoxious.
Mm-hmm.
And as a result, kind of is a heel as a result because most people hate him. So he's coming into the WWE almost at that Cena level, but not as established, obviously. Where he's such a good guy, but everyone's gonna hate him.
New wrestler for Greg to like.
I think Greg might already like him, and he's just.
Oh my God.
I think Greg's a closet believer.
No.
Watch it. Next, when he comes on next, he's going to start saying "believe" whenever this guy comes on.
But here's one of those things about Bo Dallas that you wouldn't know about him unless you've kind of followed NXT and know these wrestlers' background. He has a brother at the WWE level right now.
Which is who?
Bray Wyatt.
No.
Yep.
Whoa, what?
They are actual brothers. So,
really?
Down the road, maybe some crazy angle with those two, but honestly, that would be beneath Bray at this point. If he's taking on Cena right now, you don't then all of a sudden go into a rivalry with your brother who just came up.
What if he joined the family?
That's probably going to happen.
A lot of people have said it. I don't see it working just because Bo is such a good guy. It's obnoxious. He wouldn't fit in. He doesn't even have a beard. He's that clean-shaven, baby-face kind of guy.
Do they look alike, though?
When Bray doesn't have the beard, you can see it.
Oh, okay.
With the beard, you can't really see much.
Okay. Not bad.
Yeah, that really touches on most of the big stuff. Hugh Jackman made his return tonight.
I heard.
That was cool.
Oh, yeah.
He had a really funny segment. Damian Sandow dressed up in a shitty Magneto costume. It was hilarious.
That was just wrong.
It looked like a onesie pajama. It was hilarious.
No, it looked like he was wearing sweatpants. A sweatsuit outfit. It did. That's what it looked like.
He just went to Party City and bought a giant Magneto costume for Halloween. It was terrible.
Wow.
So that was a funny segment. There was another one I was going to touch on. What was it? I mean, Paul Heyman continues to just make the entire WWE universe rage, which is hilarious.
I've always hated him.
He had the greatest joke tonight. He had the greatest knock-knock joke tonight, because for 3 weeks, I think it's been, he just comes out and talk about how his client, Brock Lesnar, conquered the streak at WrestleMania. So tonight, everyone's booing him. He goes, you know what? I'm going to show a side I normally don't show. I'm going to tell a knock-knock joke. And it was hilarious. He goes, knock-knock. The entire crowd goes, who's there? He goes, Mike. And everyone's like, Mike who? And he goes, my client, Brock Lesnar, conquered the streak at WrestleMania.
No.
So, yeah, I saw it coming. I think a lot of people did, but for those who didn't, it was hilarious.
That sounds pretty hilarious. Holy shit.
So, it was a funny side to him.
No.
The other thing, the Wade Barrett won another big match, and he's now got a shot at Big E Langston's Intercontinental title at Extreme Rules. So that's certainly significant.
Last podcast, you said, last podcast, you guys talked about how he came back, right? How you're not just gonna bring him back and have him not win, right?
Exactly. Now, whether or not he wins the title, I'm hoping, obviously. I said it last week. It doesn't make sense to me to elevate him here and then immediately drop him down. It makes sense because Big E's kind of been a little bit stale as a champion, so I think it's the right move. And right now, Barrett is so over because he came out tonight before a match, so he's in his gear, and he gets up on the cherry picker that elevates him up, and he starts bad-mouthing Rob Van Dam, who is his opponent. And when he drops that catchphrase, there is not a person in the arena that does not say, I'm afraid I've got some bad news.
No.
Yeah, everyone starting
loves
to cling to him now.
It's great. So that's a big step. Unfortunately, we saw something tonight that has me concerned, and I kind of talked a little bit about it on Twitter this week. They continue to kind of drop Sheamus a little bit.
And I've said this for the longest time. That he's disappearing more and more and more from any kind of...
Yeah.
And I like
well,
Sheamus.
He's more of on the stage of the main event on Tuesdays now.
He is. And that's not a place you want to be.
No,
you want to be in the title picture, and he's not.
And I feel he's capable of being something big. Like, I feel like they could use him for like main event kind of things, But
I have been clamoring for his return since well before the Royal Rumble. I kept asking, "Where's Sheamus? We need Sheamus back." But that was all dependent on him coming back as a heel. Because this is what I was afraid of. If he stayed face, there are so many faces in the company right now. There's no room at the top. There's only one championship now because it's one champion. So he can't even go for the world title while there's other stuff going on with the WWE title. So while Daniel Bryan is the face right now of the company as champion, there's no room for Sheamus up there. So what I'm hoping is that they kind of spin this angle of him kind of getting beat up. Like tonight he got ambushed by Titus O'Neil, of all people. Still won the match, but it was clearly an attempt to help put O'Neil over. I think they need to take this angle and play it off kind of like they did The Miz years ago, where The Miz kept losing for so long that finally it kind of triggered a switch where he just went to that ruthless side and became a huge heel. And he went on to win the WWE title and face John Cena at WrestleMania.
Kind of like what they did to Dolph, too, for that longest time. They kind of just...
Dolph, yes. But the thing with Dolph is he didn't have that period of prolonged success. It kills me to say it, but The Miz had a better run at the top than Dolph did. Yes, where they established Dolph as that heel, but I'm looking for better than like a Miz run for Sheamus. But he's got to be a heel to pull it off, otherwise it doesn't.
I'm talking in a sense of Dolph, how they just like dropped him down for a bit, and then,
from that point of view, absolutely, he's been exactly like Dolph.
I just feel like they're doing this with a lot of people who have the potential of actually doing something big. It's just,
and I remember the big thing I wanted to touch on tonight. It was the biggest event of the night. Biggest occurrence, and it was historic. So mark this date in your calendar. 3MB won a match.
Finally.
Yes.
Those guys actually won a match.
They actually won a match. JBL had some of the funniest lines on commentary after they actually won. They joked that it's the first time Heath Slater had won a match since Obama's first term. So it was certainly a punchline of the night. They were saying, "Oh my God, this is gonna be trending on Twitter. 3MB won." JBL was celebrating 3MB winning like JR did when Stone Cold won the title at WrestleMania. You know, the famous Stone Cold, Stone Cold. JBL's going, 3MB won, 3MB won.
Wow.
So it was just a really funny, like I said, it was a good mesh tonight. Strong promo, some really good matches, and then just some solid funny segments.
The one I'm kind of looking forward to for Extreme Rules is the WLC match.
I didn't mention that. They did announce that tonight. Des, for the first time ever, the pre-show, which will be on YouTube and Facebook and everything, I think, is going to feature a WeLC match, not TLC. And it's going to be between Hornswoggle and El Torito.
What the fuck?
So it's going to be a ladder match.
Ladders and chairs match.
So...
Yeah.
I don't know what it's going to entail. I'm sure it's going to be funny. It's going to be stupid as all hell. They're going to be on step ladders, but, I might watch it because it's a funny idea.
That sounds pretty
They're going to have to, whatever they're fighting for, if it's something hanging from the ceiling, they better have a really long cord to get that,
probably a hot
whatever they're hanging all the way down to, like, our waist height.
Oh, my God.
I think eventually it's going to be, it's just going to be just those two just destroying each other.
Can you really use the word destroying for midgets? How does a midget destroy another midget?
Okay, maybe, I don't know, bump into each other and fall over. That seems
Well, there's going to be lots of that. I mean, that's a classic type there match.
To be honest,
a lot of awkward moves that should be tried.
Last week when they actually wrestled, it kind of... Wee Man was actually pulling off some moves. I didn't think he could actually do. I'm sorry. They all look like me. I'm sorry.
Whoa! Look at Nathan profiling midgets.
Holy shit.
I love this, man.
How do you get
midgets
the little
are the people you
rocket
want around to party
like
with?
Full outfit.
What?
I mean,
Wow, damage control we got going on here. Holy shit.
Nathan, just
Anyway, Hornswoggle, he was pulling off some moves last week. I didn't think he'd be able to pull off, you know?
No,
He
El Torito, I'll give him credit for a midget can wrestle. But
Yeah.
on another note, the Spurs game is now in the books. Sadly, the Spurs did win.
They won? So it's tied
We're going to
2-2.
hear Greg. Greg's going to be gloating, but we'll cover NBA after the entire first round is complete. We're not going to get into that
Yeah,
tonight.
I think it's a good idea, too. Idea.
No reason to get into it in the middle of series and stuff when stuff isn't decided. We'll see how we did with our predictions. So far, so good.
Now, speaking of basketball, I mean, I was going to use this as my topic of the night, but I've decided to use something else.
Okay.
But I want to know, Keels, since I know you don't watch sports, Nathan, I'm going to leave this to Keels and myself. And
right.
I want you to, from your point of view or from what you heard, what you think. But Keels, obviously, what came out on TMZ was the whole recording of Donald Sterling saying he doesn't, his girlfriend or whatever she was at the time, associating herself with black people, including Magic Johnson, which surprised me.
Right.
Well, how do you feel about that? Like, how do you I don't know if you saw the Golden State Warriors game versus the Clippers and how they protested.
I did. The protest before the game.
Right. I mean, so what is
Heat did the same thing tonight, by the way.
Who did?
The Heat.
They did
to show solidarity with
no.
the Clippers, they did the exact same thing.
That's great. I mean, so what is your view? And obviously, I'll tell mine, but how do you feel about the whole thing?
I'm going to start by saying we have to be careful because it's not confirmed that it's him on the recording. It's allegedly his voice.
Correct. Yeah, you're right.
But that being said, if that is his voice on there and everything is exactly as it's alleged, I think it's absolutely horrific, those remarks. I mean, it'd be naive to think there's not racism today. Racism is still everywhere in the world. There's inequality everywhere you look.
And it's not just towards it's towards every race.
Everyone, not just, black, but brown,
Yeah.
Every race and sexual orientation and
just anything.
ethnicity, religion, all that stuff, there's inequality. But what makes this so sick to me is the fact that this man makes money off of the people that he talks down about. And I heard Chris Broussard, who works for ESPN, kind of make this comparison, and he said he was hesitant to do it because it's a really out there remark. But I think he's actually right. He compared Donald Sterling to having a slave owner mindset.
Oh, no, I agree with that.
And I agree with it because slave owners were that same way where they looked down on some race that was beneath them and subhuman, which is sick. But on top of that, they made money off of that subhuman worker that they had. Donald Sterling, if those comments are true and that is him, he has this exact same thing. They've made him so wealthy, and they're a big part of the success of the Clippers, and he's got employees, and he's also a landowner who rents apartments. They pay him there. It's just so outrageous.
I read that he bought the team for $12 million, and now its estimated worth is between $500 and $600 million.
There you go. So if he sold the team, the amount of wealth they brought to him to have that stance, and I am with every single person who has said he needs to be removed as owner of the team.
So you think they should sell the team? Have him forcibly sell
No.
it? Okay.
It's a complicated matter, and this is the thing. I wish I knew more of the league regulations and where the legal aspects of this go. I'm almost positive, but I don't know this for a fact, I'm almost positive the commissioner can't just remove an owner. However, there's got to be something in place where the other owners can call a vote for that.
Here's my issue. My issue with that. I believe he should be forced to step down and give ownership to someone else, because I know that he doesn't own 100% of the Clippers. I know there's some kind of, okay. I don't believe they should force him to sell it, because that kind of affects the fans as well. Because then you have someone else come in, for example, Chris Hansen, the guy who's, the Seattle firm, buy the team.
Who tried buying the Kings.
And then we'll take it to another state, obviously. then now you're punishing the fans for something that the owner did. Now you're taking away their team. I feel like I think he should step down. Obviously, I think someone else should take over.
Here's the thing, though. Even if they removed him, where he had no say in who it was sold to and who took over the team, that team's not going to leave LA.
I hope not.
I know there's already a team in LA, and that argument could be used, but look at it from this standpoint. Think of all the things that have to be done. We saw it with the Kings situation for a team to be moved. The commissioner has to approve. The owners have to approve. There's a committee. I don't think teams, even though there's already one there, I don't think they'd let them move to Washington.
And even LA's a great place for a team. It's a marketable team. I mean, even though they're being the second team of Los Angeles, they still make a great profit. Not only
that, they were the better team in LA this year. Yeah. So there's something to be said to have that bragging right for a city and have that competition within a city. Being in the New York market, I see it all the time in baseball and, football between the Jets and Giants. There's that kind of rivalry over who's the real New York team. So there's something to be said about that promoting both franchises and it benefiting both. I honestly don't think the Lakers would want to see the Clippers go. No. Just for that same reason.
I mean, that's what makes a great rivalry. I mean, obviously you always hear, I wish, the Clippers would leave. I wish, they will move to a different state, etc. I mean, but in the end, you don't want that to happen because, it's a great rivalry. It's fun, It's just,
right.
So
I just think his remarks, they have to be addressed. And I've heard a lot of things, and there really hasn't been much said that I've disagreed with. Maybe I disagree with saying the players should refuse to play. That's asking a lot of them, considering they pour their heart and soul into getting to the playoffs. They grind for an entire season, not to mention what they do before the season to get ready for it, and then to be like, oh yeah, just don't go out there and play because your owners are racist.
Now, do you think they...
I don't see it.
Now, do you think they released this at the wrong time?
Well, I mean, that audio tape, nobody was going to control when that got released, honestly. Does it suck that it got released now? Absolutely. Yeah. Do I think whoever released it, if they could have, should have waited? Yeah, it would have been nice that it would have happened in the off season, so it wouldn't have taken away from an amazing playoffs that's going on right now. This first round has been legendary.
I mean,
but it's being taken away from by this story.
In the end, you just got to feel bad for the players, especially,
Yeah, people always make the argument, how am I going to feel bad for a guy who makes millions of dollars? Still a person, the shit they have to go through. Now,
it's wrong.
Instead of focusing on trying to win a championship, which some of them work their entire life and still haven't gotten one.
Right. That's why I feel...
The fact that that's their goal and now they're sitting there having that distracting from it sucks.
And like I said, I mean, when I first heard it, I'm like, okay, this is... I didn't really think much of it. I didn't think, but once
it's turned into the biggest story
out. But once I heard the actual audio, and I'm a person that, you know me, I like to joke around. I don't, when I hear something like, whatever, something to do. I was, seriously, I was disgusted. Like, I was completely, that straight up offended me. And it takes a lot for it to offend me.
See, you and I are the same way like that. That's why we get along so well and we have this podcast and everything. We can say whatever and not give a shit. And we've made racist jokes on this podcast and just not cared. But it's not something we truly believe in.
No. And even
it's just remarks we make off the cuff
and even
as a joke.
Even in our tone of voice, it's obviously Greg's the same way too. We all make those kind of jokes. It's one thing to say it, but
but to have that as a core belief,
it's disgusting. It really is. I was just, I don't know. I don't get offended easily at all. And I've seen some weird shit in my life, and I was like, holy shit, why am I mad?
Yeah, no, and he deserves everything that happens to him. I think they're going to try to find a way to take the team away. I just don't know how they can go about it legally, because it's a touchy subject. Because now you're punishing the rest of his family too, which I severely doubt shares that belief with him, his wife, his kids, whatever. So
did you hear
to strip him of something worth that much money, It's a touchy thing.
Did you hear who if they were to sell it, who would be the front runner by the team?
Who's that?
Just give a wild guess. Wild guess. Who you think is going to buy the team? They actually came out and said, we're going to buy the team if it's on. We're gonna
is it an organization?
It's a group of guys.
Oh, it's a group of guys?
Yeah. But one guy is, how you say...
Oh, I heard Magic Johnson was looking at it.
There you go.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Magic Johnson and his group of investors.
Yeah.
They've been wanting to buy that team for a while, though. That's not a development as a result of this. They've wanted that team. And that's why they have the Dodgers. They want the Clippers.
If they did, I'll honestly be confident because I know the team will stay. So.
Absolutely. That'd be a great ownership group. It'd be good for the sport. It'd be great for the franchise, and it would repair that damage done by.
It will honestly also make the rivalry a lot better because now you got an ex-Laker running a Clipper team, and it'll just make it so much better.
God damn it! Sorry, I'm looking at the coverage of the Spurs game, and because Dallas lost and Romo was in the front row, everyone's hashtagging Romo curse.
No.
God, my poor Tony Romo can't catch a break.
Even during the fucking off season, he still get you fucking.
Every sport, it's just nonstop with him.
That's so.
It feels so bad.
I feel bad for that guy.
It happened. What was it? The Duke game. He was at the Duke game, and they fucking did that to him.
Did I tell you to follow us on Twitter? Did I tell you to follow us on Twitter?
Who?
I told you, The Kane Show.
Oh, yeah?
You ever heard of him?
Yeah, I have.
Yeah.
That's pretty cool.
Love The Kane Show, man.
You listen to it?
Oh, yeah, I've listened to it before. It's really funny stuff.
Yeah, we got follows.
Nice.
That's always good news. If you're watching this and you haven't followed us yet, do it. Come on. The Kane Show does it.
Get with the movie.
But there was something else I was going to touch on. Oh, speaking of ownership, jumping sports a little bit, there was talk of the Buffalo Bills, which has been a struggling franchise. Donald Trump wants to buy them.
What?
Yeah. That's been a big story in football.
He has the money. He could do it, but...
What would you think of Trump as an owner for an NFL team?
Is he going to move the team?
Is it anything like
No,
the football?
that's the great thing. He wants to keep the team in Buffalo.
Okay. I feel like, I don't know how he is. I mean, obviously he run the business before, and he's obviously, he knows how that works. I feel like, I don't know. That's a tough one because I don't know, honestly. I can't even give you even a slight answer.
The interesting thing is, it was Donald Trump who bought a team in, what was it, the USFL or the AFL, one of those other leagues that ended up failing. Mm-hmm. He owned the Generals, which was another like New York market kind of team. Mm-hmm. And Donald Trump was directly responsible for that league changing its season from spring and summer to the fall to compete with the NFL.
I think I know what league you're trying to talk about.
I can't remember.
Didn't Mr. McMahon?
No, that was the XFL. No, that was even worse.
Exactly. If Donald Trump is going to own a team, I think it's going to be exactly like that. That's what's going to end up happening.
No, because here's the thing. The league he bought a team in was going to fail no matter what because it didn't have the market. So he took a chance by at least moving to a season where people might watch it. He knew it was direct competition, but he said that was the only way they stood any kind of chance. So he gambled as a businessman. I like that he's going to keep him in Buffalo. That's a big thing.
Okay, I agree with that.
He's going to bring in corporate sponsors, and the Buffalo market is desperate for any kind of like sponsorship. That team and his fan base, I feel bad for him, honestly, and I don't want to see him lose.
They're on that level of teams like the Browns, and they need some kind of.
Yeah, and he'd be a positive owner, I think. A lot of I haven't heard it yet said, but I'm sure it has been. I'll say it now. I would view Donald Trump in the NFL like Mark Cuban in the NBA.
True. I mean, on a business standpoint, I could see where he'd probably excel. But then again, I'm thinking, well, he has to, but then that's what you hire GMs for. They handle the players. You're just, dealing with the business side of the aspect,
Because I think he'd be a hands-on owner like Mark Cuban. I think he'd be that outspoken owner that the other owners might not necessarily like in the league. Because let's face it, not every owner in the NBA likes Mark Cuban.
No,
I know, shocking. But and the NFL would probably be even more so because a lot of the ownership is older than, NBA owners. Uh-huh. So you're talking real old money, but at the same time, he'd be good for the league.
Oh, he would.
Donald Trump would, and the NFL's already huge. They don't need somebody to make them bigger, but he would.
And there's nothing wrong, an extra, like I said, the Cuban of the NBA. And obviously, being Donald Trump, he'll be outspoken as hell,
And I love that. And that's one thing I love about Mark Cuban. A lot of people hate him. He makes it interesting. He has fun with it. And by the way, every time he gets fined, he donates that same amount of money to a charity. So give the man credit.
He also has that show Shark Tank, which is pretty good too. I don't know if you guys seen it.
Yeah, I'm not a hater of that show.
It's pretty good. I like it. But besides that, I mean, it's pretty good.
I've heard of it.
It's a good show.
Well, thanks, Nathan. Check it out.
But I guess it's time we move to the topic of the week, right? I think it's...
Yeah, absolutely.
Okay. So, I told you how I want to talk about the Clippers, but I'm like, how we usually talk sports. I'm just going to leave that to sports. Yeah. Usually when it comes to top of the night, it's usually something personal within our lives, which I like. Yeah, which I like because it gives the viewers of more insight on us, You want to know.
Plus, I love your topic of the night going to those areas because it lets the viewers kind of relate to it. Uh-huh. And I'm going to take this chance, ask the viewers, leave some more comments. Tell us your stories. We love reading them. If you have questions, if you have topic ideas,
like you guys don't
bounce them off us.
You guys don't understand. Your comments literally help out to what we want to talk about within the next podcast or any kind of thing. It really helps out. Because
it helps shape the show.
Yeah. We do not have original ideas.
Because
speak for yourself there, Nathan.
Because it really helps us, and also, like I said, our Twitter, our Facebook page, it just gives you guys more of a chance to interact with us. But moving forward toward the topic of the night, and I got 2 questions for both of you, Nathan. Okay. The reason why I brought this topic of night, is because you're a guest. And no one knows you like...
It's an initiation time?
Yes.
Oh, here we go.
And no one knows you better than us right here because we know a lot about you, Sir Nathan.
Yeah.
Okay. So, I'm going to ask you 2 questions, all right? Randomized questions,
okay.
All right? I want to know, what is one thing you've done in the past that you could take back if you had the chance?
This doesn't feel very random to me right now, JP. You know that?
Yeah, I planned this. I'm not gonna lie.
Yeah, it's not random.
I know you.
Random. I'm sitting there going.
JP, we've known each other for years, dude. I know you.
You probably already know the answer, and you just want him to say it.
I don't. I don't.
Okay.
Something in the past I want to take back.
Something you've done that maybe in regards to like, oh my god, why'd I do that?
If I had to say anything, I would have to say a lot of the girls I've dated in the past, I want to take it back because a lot of the girls I dated are fucking real bitches, man. Like, I didn't even know what the fuck I was thinking dating these girls.
So?
Like, back in high school, they were... I dated them because they seemed nice, right?
Okay.
Afterwards, it turned out to be total bitches to me.
And bitches in what sense, though?
They got all snooty, they got all pissy, acting like they were superior and shit like that because they broke up with me.
Now, let me ask you a question. Now, if all your relationships became like this, isn't the problem you?
I don't know. I treat them with respect and love, and I treat them like princesses. And I don't know.
I'm going to jump in. I'm going to defend both Nathan's exes and Nathan. I'm going to defend Nathan's exes on the first part of the question. And the way I'm going to do that is I'm going to say they don't just get snooty
for no reason
once they start dating you. odds are you didn't get to know him long enough before
That
dating him,
was
and they were
when
already
before-
really
yeah.
snooty, and you just weren't aware of it. So on that end, I'm gonna say that's on you because they were
that was
already
on me
snooty.
because in the past I never really got to know the girls. I'd find out that they kind of like me. I tried to get to know them, but they were on their cell phones too much. High school girls, and I just was like, what the hell? Maybe it'll work. And no.
Now, to come to your aid on the second one, Nathan, I wouldn't say just because there's a track record of bad relationships doesn't necessarily put it on one person. That goes for guys or girls. Say a girl has a shitty track record, that doesn't mean it's her fault necessarily either. It could, but not necessarily. I don't know. Obviously, I wasn't there to experience your relationship, so really only you or they could collectively answer that.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah.
But, Des, you and I have had shitty track records with relationships as well.
It's kind of
From mine,
yeah.
I know it's not on me. From yours, I would, knowing what I know, it's not you.
It's kind of scary of how similar shit we've been through with both
Yes.
It's kind of, and I don't know if, and I'm not saying it's just a girl kind of thing. It's a pattern I've been seeing lately.
Mhm.
And it's like, it's kind of, I mean, if, like I said, if you have to resort to cutting someone off without saying anything about it, that goes towards guys and girls. I mean, and that's becoming something I'm witnessing a lot more, where people take the easy way out of I'm just not going to talk to this person no more, But you're not really thinking what you're putting that person through, who's trying to, it's just, that's a pattern I've seen. And, like I said, Nathan, like, when it comes, I don't know, I'm lost.
With me, like, what I can say is I'll be the first to fess up if it's something I've done wrong.
Mm-hmm.
I always have been that way. If there's one thing I could say that could put it on me for the past fails, I was too trusting.
Trusting? No, I'm the same way.
Yeah, trust.
So, in an aspect to that question that you asked Nathan, yes, I guess I am to blame for those issues along the way, but not in the sense of I'm a shitty, like, person or I'm abusive or any of those aspects you would traditionally.
Exactly.
No, what I think kills for you, also, because it's what I am, is I feel that a lot of people tend to take our kindness for advantage.
Oh,
it's how same thing for me, man.
It's not about being I'm.
But Nathan, you're a dick.
Yeah, it's not.
I'm only a dick to you guys, okay?
Okay.
And it's not even about being. You're just too nice. It's not that I'm being too nice. It's people take advantage of me being nice in general.
Yeah.
But Nathan.
Yeah, no, we're not cocky and arrogant enough to say, we're just such nice guys. It's ridiculous. I mean,
But Nathan,
like,
Nathan, you're
no,
still,
we're really,
Hey,
honestly,
I
at
was-
our core, all three of us, pieces of shit. But when it comes to relationships, we're not bad.
No, we're not. I mean,
No.
don't get the impression this is how we are. This is how we are when we hang out, as a bunch of guys. Nathan is still a dick, but it's whatever. Nathan, I mean,
Love me though.
next question though, and I want to know, and I'm not trying to put you on the spot. It's an initiation.
That's exactly what you're trying to do.
What you doing?
It's initiation. It's just how it is,
Yeah.
We all went through it. We made fun of Greg and his ways. We made fun of Kills, and they made fun of me.
And let me jump in before you ask the question. I know last week I said I was going to try to get a nice streak going of us not talking about exes and chicks and stuff like that for a while.
It's broken.
There has to be an allowance made because we have a guest who has to go through initiation.
Yeah.
So don't hold me to my statements last week.
Okay, and that's true because this is a whole different crew right now. So,
Yeah.
Nathan, okay, I'm not gonna ask you the question I'm thinking about. I know Kills knows what I'm thinking about, just because I know a lot of your friends will probably listen to this, and I hope they do.
Be fair.
Yeah, I'm gonna be nice to you about it, but I want to know. Give me an instant with one of your exes where it just didn't work out so well. I know you had a couple, but I want to know, like, let the people know what you experienced.
One where it didn't work out so well.
Yeah.
Like, in what way? What way do you mean?
Like, in the way of, like, when that one girl broke up with you because you were planning to move to California.
Don't answer for him.
That one. Okay, that I was actually.
See, you're trying to lead him,
that
you
one.
piece of shit.
No, I would have said something else, okay?
Yeah, that girl. She was a really cool girl.
That's good.
I knew her back in high school. I dated her in high school.
Now,
right?
what was the issue in
And-
high school, though?
in the issue was high school. I'm 3 years older than this girl, right? She was 15, I was 18. I was dating her, right? The teacher saw that we were dating.
Okay.
Why you gotta laugh like that? Teacher saw we were dating, and JP, will you stop doing that?
Dude, I didn't want you coming out saying like that. Just say she was 3 years older than her. Don't say what the fucking age was.
Yeah, you really threw yourself under the bus there.
God damn, Nathan. Damn.
Oh, God, you really...
Can I continue?
Let's hope it
Anyway.
hold of this footage. What's the statute of limitations on that shit?
Okay, how long ago was that though? 5, 6 years ago?
I don't.
6 years ago.
Yeah, 6 years ago.
Okay, thank God.
I don't know what Florida state law is, but...
Hush. All right. Teachers
Proceed.
saw that we were dating, and they told my parents, and my parents got pissed off at me, so I had to end it, basically, right?
Mm-hmm.
Many years later, we're all out of high school now, and I get back from Job Corps, right?
Mm-hmm.
And I see her add me on Facebook. She said it was because she saw me on a bike driving down the highway or something.
When did you ever ride a
But
bike?
Yeah, that can't be you.
That can't be true.
For some reason, she thought it was me, but it was actually my brother Philip, who is extremely skinny, as you know, Philip.
Yeah.
Like, he's just a really skinny guy. He's like complete opposite of me, but everyone says we look alike for some reason. I don't know. Anyway, she added me, and we just started talking. Then I had her come over. We drank a bit.
Oh, that's okay.
And before we knew it, before I knew it, we were in my bed, fooling around.
Okay.
And
How long
I guess
was
we
this
just
after you guys ended it?
3 years.
okay. Basically, started going out the day after.
Yeah. Day after her.
Oh
The
no!
day after her birthday, he started going out with her.
Oh no!
Hey, but she's 18 at the time, right?
Yes. So it's all good. And further, but
I just have this image in my head
later,
of you looking at a calendar
And
and
just
your
crossing it out.
stopwatch,
Yeah.
having a date circled, just going and midnight and ringing her bell.
Don't lie.
Alright,
That's how it works.
Anyway, no, I don't have a
Like,
calendar.
oh boy, guys, she's 18 now. Let's go call her.
I like how the part you denied was the calendar part.
Anyway, a few months of us dating, me and Jay, during this time, me and JP, we've been talking about, moving to California, hanging out there, getting work there and stuff, right? But before we do that, we were going to college. I tell her about it, right? Because I wanted her to know what's going to possibly happen, like, near the end of the year or maybe next year, right? And she's like, okay. Next day, she calls me, says that she's coming over, right?
Mm-hmm.
She pulls up, but it's not in her car. It's in her friend's car. And her friend's car is packed full of all these girls, all her friends. And I'm like,
You have it?
what? What's going on? What's going on?
What did she pick up?
She comes out, and she starts talking. She comes out, and she says that she wants to break up.
Wow.
I'm like, and then I realized
Wow.
that explains why
Front of
our
all
friends
her
are here,
friends.
Well, at
right?
least she got someone to
In
tell you they
front of
wanted to
our
break
friends.
up. I had to learn the hard way.
Yeah, I mean, there were pros and cons so far. Like, she did it in person,
Yeah.
at least,
With her friends.
and she actually just flat out said, we're breaking up. So that's already
Yeah.
one up on Des, who it was via, like, text, right?
Me?
All right,
And
well,
me,
anyway,
where it was just ignoring
No, I
me.
didn't get shit. I got ignored.
guys,
Oh, okay.
here's
well
the
done.
reason why. Here's the reason why. I asked her, okay, well, why do you want to break up? There's got to be a reason, right? This is what she tells me. It's not JP because we're moving, all right? She said straight out because I'm going to college. She said because I myself am going to go to college.
What?
Because I was going to college, she wants to break up with me for that.
Oh, I
Why?
didn't know this.
What, does she want, a stupid dude?
I guess.
She wanted a
Because
dude that's so
the fact
dumb
that I
she could
was
just
starting to
fucking
go to
bend him.
college. Yeah, she. I don't know. It's just like the stupidest thing. wouldn't you want a guy to go to college so you get a better career and everything?
Yeah.
Nope, threatened by educated dudes.
Yeah. Scary.
Educated too.
So did she and all her friends that were on that like long rope that they tied to the little kids get back in the car?
Did they go back on the bus?
I'm like, she said that, and I'm like, you know what?
Was it a field trip to your house?
Did she take
It
all her
was
friends
like
to
a
go
field
get
trip
ice
to my
cream?
house, I guess. Dude, she had a dude.
Was she the
She had
chaperone?
I guess. It was funny, too, because it was this big-ass truck, right? And in the back, it was the rebel flag. Huge rebel flag and everything.
Oh, man. One of them.
And once she got in her car, she just drove off speeding down the road. It's like she was trying to make a big scene.
Now, didn't she try getting back with you, though?
She tried.
Y'all did get back with each other for like a week. Some shit like
That was that was before.
Busted.
I'm talking about she tried again after
Oh.
the fact she broke up with me a second time, dude.
Just proves my theory. 99% of second goes at it never work out, and you just get angry at yourself for doing it.
I want to see someone who's actually had a second go and actually worked, because honestly,
Oh, I'm sure they're out there, and it'd be nice if somebody could leave a comment on the video and be like, "Hey, yeah, it's worked," and then I'll sit there and go, "Just you wait." No, but seriously, if somebody managed to pull it off, I'd be happy for them. But I just think it's really tough to do.
yeah, because
So my final question for Nathan was:
ask him any question.
when she got out of the car and walked up to your door, was it nice that her shoes lit the way?
What?
What?
The shoes that every time you step they light up. It's another topic.
What?
Nathan, you're a romantic guy, right?
Not so much anymore.
He doesn't
I was
strike me.
back in the day.
Is it true that you used to write poems to the girls you're with?
Oh no.
On occasion, I did.
Oh no.
That's so sweet.
Oh,
Do you
shut
have
up.
any
Do
handy?
you have any on you?
No. Fuck you guys. No.
Des,
I'm
new
not
show.
reading any poems.
Nathan's poetry. Corner.
Okay, we're ending this shit with Nathan. I want to hear.
No, we're not.
I want to hear your famous.
No, you're getting a poetry corner and you're gonna like it.
No,
Nathan,
we're not.
let the audience hear your famous rap.
No. Fuck you,
Do it
JP.
on
I'm
the
not
phone.
doing that.
Say it.
No, we're gonna save that for its own show. We're not gonna give it away on the podcast. However, I think the best way to end the show tonight is instead of doing it as a spin-off this week, we'll just do it as part of the podcast. The first initial episode of Who's Taking Nathan's Job This Week.
Oh my god, seriously?
So Nathan,
Should we tell him what happened?
yes, that's how we're gonna start the first episode.
I'm gonna go.
We're gonna get We're gonna get everybody caught up on who's taking your jobs to date, and every week we will give an update on who got hired instead of you.
I will record you. I will bring my camera and I will record you. Just,
Great if we could do that.
I will. Trust me.
So Nathan, get the audience caught up to date. Who has taken your job, and where did they take that job?
Yes.
I can't list any names for, not to...
Oh, if there's
People out,
any
right.
pending job applications where you're still hoping to get hired, that's understandable.
But I'm not going to put people who actually got hired at my place out there, but...
No, of course not. But you can describe
All right.
them.
The last job I applied to was a Taco Bell down on South...
Don't give addresses or
Yeah,
locations.
just say where you work.
That's just gonna
It
make
was
it
a
worse. You don't want to
Taco
give
Bell.
out names, but you want to give out addresses.
Yeah, but I heard Nathan lost his job at this Taco Bell. Let's see who he lost it to.
Anyway, there was this Taco Bell, right? I applied to the place. I went in for the interview. It was polite. I was confident, and they said they'll call me back. A week later goes by. I didn't hear from them, so I called them. And they said they'll call me back. Another week, I called them again. They said they'll call me back. Third week, I call them back, try to find out what's going on. They told me that they already gave the job to someone else. Right? I asked, well, can you tell me who? They told me the name. some reason, it sounded very familiar to me. I typed it in on Facebook, and it was an old friend of mine from high school, right? This kid with Down syndrome.
No.
They gave a job to a kid with Down syndrome instead of me, okay?
Now I'm going to take this chance to say to the audience, if you were wondering why we were turning this into a show, it's pretty much just for that reason.
I regret telling you guys about this.
Let me explain my situation before we wrap this up. About a month ago, Nathan got a call to a Walmart. This is where it all started, okay? Nathan got a call for an interview at 12:30 p.m. at a Walmart that was opening up, okay? I applied with him just for the hell of it, basically. And I got the same call the same day that I had an interview at 2:30, and I'm like, I'm not going to go. Until Nathan called me saying, hey, I got an interview at Walmart. I'm like, okay, now I'm just going to go because you're going, whatever. This guy, it's 12:30, okay, 12:30 p.m. He goes in, comes out at 12:35. No joke, 5 minutes later. I'm like, aren't interviews usually longer? He's like, yeah, it went great. I think I did really good. So I asked him for the questions they asked, and just generic questions. And I'm like, oh, so did it ask you about a second interview? He's like, they'll call me back whenever. So I think I got the job. I'm like, okay. Then I'm like, so we went to eat, came back, and I'm like, okay, I'm going to go in there and come back. It's going to be a quick interview then, because I wasn't expecting any other interviews. I go in at 2:30, I get out at 4. At a first, second, and third interview, and they turned out, if you weren't a candidate for a second interview, they were to send you home right then and there. And this is how it all started.
And Des, did you accept the job?
I did.
What a shitty friend. What a piece of shit you are.
I'm sorry.
They probably like, oh, do you know that guy? And you were like, yeah, he's terrible. You threw him under the bus. They probably were going to call him back, and you were just like, nah, you don't need to call him back.
You guys are fine. I'm doing you guys a favor.
I'm all you need.
I'm doing you guys a favor.
I can't wait till we do the show again.
Oh.
Nathan, apply more places, please.
Please.
I have to wait until the end of the month to apply anywhere else.
No, you
I will
don't.
apply to so many
Nathan,
places.
Oh
wait.
my!
I'm not
I got an
lying.
idea. Next time,
There's no such thing as you have to
your
wait.
next interview, you're gonna give me a call, and I'm gonna record you the pre and after interview, and see how it goes from there.
That would be great if we had the initial as soon as he comes out of the room, the camera in his face. So Nathan, how did it go? What did they ask you?
They said, "What if I invested in the clear glasses with the camera in the middle?"
Where?
You
Well, no, you
Google
can't do
Glasses?
that. The company could sue
That's
you.
true.
if you
That's
put
true.
that up.
Yeah. But yeah.
But just Nathan being blindsided by a camera as soon as he comes out of the interview. Now that's gold.
Okay. I guess that wraps it up, right? I think we're done.
Yeah, I can't think of anything. I think it went pretty smooth without Greg.
Nathan,
Wait, weren't you supposed to ask Brian a question?
it was mainly just
Nah.
you.
That was just me.
But
Yeah, it was just to lull you into a false sense of, oh, okay, he's going to ask both of us. No, that's part of the initiation. I don't get asked the question.
Nathan, thank you once again. I mean, you're a good sport about this.
Yes.
Of
Obviously,
course, I always am.
obviously, we didn't mean it in a way of it's just how we are. I went through it.
It's fine.
Brian went through it. Greg goes through it every fucking podcast. It's okay.
Oh, yeah.
So
I just have a feeling like it's going to be
Greg's
me
gotten
like,
off the hook
for a
a
few
little
more
bit.
weeks.
yeah, we need to get him back next week. I'm gonna,
Like,
yeah.
the only thing Greg suffered for last week was not wearing a shirt.
Yeah. And I'm gonna get him. I'm gonna figure something out for him.
Yeah, we'll have something planned.
But again, you guys, thanks for watching. I mean, we got Nathan, our fill-in for Greg. We got Brian, and I'm Des. And thanks for watching Showstoppers, and we'll catch you guys next week.
Take care.